Everyone that starts a podcast, the average is you're gonna last 3 months, and then you're gonna give up. So if you can make it past those 3 months mark, that means you're in it for the long run.
Yo.
What up? What up?
Yo.
Hey.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Hey, co-workers. Welcome back to another episode of the We Outside Afterwork podcast. Can we get a bomb drop for that? Hey.
Kind of missed y'all.
He's good with the sound effects.
Yeah.
Right. Who's he?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so today we're joined by the man behind the camera.
Mr. Marv. Shout out to Marv.
Our producer Marv. So he's like our third member of the We Outside Afterwork podcast.
He's the co-worker. You feel me? Like,
yeah.
Shout out to Marv.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for joining us, aka the King of Podcasts. Yeah, so we are just going to jump into our icebreaker game just to break the ice.
Okay.
And it is hot takes, of course. So, Aaron, I'll let you read your card.
We could rock, paper, scissors.
You want to? Come
on. Nah, we good. We'll do it next time, though.
Okay.
All right, but my hot takes card is I'd rather marry a hot person with a mediocre personality than an unattractive person with an amazing personality. I'm gonna let you go first, Marv. You pick the card.
Yeah, you the guest.
I picked the card, but I think there's a middle ground where they don't have to be extremely on either side of it.
Okay, so let's throw that in there. That's the extreme.
Because those are two very extremes. Like unattractive, there's like so many levels between.
So if they were like super unattractive or like super fine, but they had a whack personality if they were super fine, and then if they were super ugly, I don't want to say ugly.
Yeah, we don't unattractive.
Yes.
Beautifully challenged.
Yeah, their chemistry was like their conversation. It was literally like you as another person.
Not if they're so far into the unattractive to me, because attractiveness is subjective. So you would have to be attractive to me, I guess.
Yeah. So you would pick the one that's unattractive?
No. I would pick the mildly attractive.
So he's skating the fence, y'all.
He is.
I know. I picked the card too.
You gotta pick a side.
If it's one or the other, then I would go with attractive but bad personality.
Okay. See, this is a hard one for me.
It's not a hard one. You answered this already on previous episodes.
Oh, you did this one already?
No, she answered it in conversation.
Oh.
But like, because I love conversation, but in order for me to get there, I have to be attracted to you physically. Yeah. So I don't care. Like, I don't want to know about your personality if I don't think you're cute, to be honest.
Exactly.
But if I've dealt with like super cute, attractive men, and like there's nothing beyond that. So that also didn't work. So yeah, I mean, if I had to
this
choose,
is gonna be the We in the Middle podcast. That's what this is. The We in the Middle podcast.
We on the fence.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm picking the unattractive one, but it probably won't be long term.
First off, I would pick the unattractive person with the amazing personality, right? Because attraction, like Marvin said, is subjective, right? So it's things about individuals that you will eventually find attractive. The same way it's things about attractive people that you find unattractive, right? Dana just said that beautiful chocolate man that looks just like me with that beautiful chocolate man with a shit personality. It's like it's a dub. It's like I don't want to be bothered with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, but it's something there with an unattractive person with an amazing personality. There's so many other qualities that you can get out of that.
I built friendships with unattractive people who I have put in the friend zone, like intentionally.
Oh my god!
But like, maybe they could get.
That's wild thing to say.
That sounds so bad. Let's skip to the next card. Let's skip to the next card.
Damn. Who's in the friend? Am I in the friend zone?
Duh.
Oh shit. No, I'm fucking with y'all.
Anyway, all right. So the next hot takes card, I actually really like this one. So it says Nickelodeon is better than the Disney Channel. All right, so I think we got to put some specifics on this. So
no, we shouldn't, because it's a blowout. That's why we want to put specifics on it.
I haven't watched cartoons or the Nickelodeon or Disney Channel in years. So when I think of this, I think of like my childhood and when I was in like elementary or middle school, and they had like Hey Arnold.
Trash.
You didn't like Hey Arnold? Oh my god.
Why do I want to watch a TV show about a kid with grown up ass experiences with stress and trauma? I don't want to watch that.
No, Hey Arnold was good,
like
bro.
Hey
that.
Arnold was
He lived in the city.
He lived in the hood.
He was dealing with a lot of
Exactly.
like adult problems.
When I watched
though.
Rugrats, I didn't deal with adult problems. I dealt with children problems.
Yeah.
Baby problem.
Yeah, no, Hey Arnold was
too damn
definitely
adult
like,
for me. Like, I might as well watch fucking Family Guy or some shit.
Hey Arnold was definitely sad.
It was
sad.
like he lived in a boarding house with his grandparents because his parents like went missing.
I'm good on Hey Arnold.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to say I would pick the Disney Channel for their movies because back in the day, like I would look forward to their movies, like the Cheetah Girls, all of those like Friday night movies on Disney Channel was my shit.
Ain't never watched none of them shits.
Okay, well I don't know how your child.
I watched Holes with Shia LaBeouf. That movie's good. That's the only one I think I like though from the Disney movies.
You ain't watch High School Musical and all that dumb shit.
Because I think Disney Channel. Disney Channel was more for girls than.
This is why I didn't fuck with it.
So?
I think so because if you look at the shows,
yeah,
Raven, Lizzie McGuire,
Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana. I fuck with Hannah Montana though.
Yeah,
that was my shit.
It was definitely geared more towards girls.
It was. Now that I think about it, because like I would wait
to
watch their shows. Yeah. Well, they had the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Okay, but first
you're
off,
right,
time out. Y'all, that's your age group. My age group, we was a little bit before that. We didn't have all that shit. We talking about basic shit, Goof Troop type of shit.
Goof Troop was amazing.
Mickey Mouse.
What about Doug? Doug was on Nickelodeon.
To me, Nickelodeon destroys Disney Channel. I didn't even watch Disney Channel. There was no need to. I used to get out of school, do my homework, and 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we had Doug and Rugrats every fucking night. You couldn't beat that for me. I'm watching every episode religiously. Yeah. Like, I'm a big brave dog because of Rugrats. You feel me? Like, I don't fuck with Disney Channel.
I think for me, it like transitioned because in the beginning, he was so passionate about that. But for me, it transitioned. Like, at first, when I was younger, like in elementary and middle school, I was a Nickelodeon girl. And then when I got to high school, then I started watching all the shows, like you guys said, the movies, because it was geared more towards like my high school experiences. Like, I could relate low key to some of those issues.
But see, I had got digital cable later on in life, and Cartoon Network came into play, and it was Disney Channel ain't had shit on Cartoon Network or Kids WB. So with all due respect to Disney Channel, y'all can kick rocks, kick boulders, kick blocks, kick holes in your socks. I don't fuck with it.
Into Cartoon Network. What about you, Marv?
I love Cartoon Network to death. Better than both of them.
Better than both of them?
Better than both of them. It was a blowout.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really loved Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh my god.
I couldn't watch
that. You like the worst fucking show. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That was stress-inducing.
The dumbest
you
fucking
have a
show.
lot of animosity about these shows and these networks. Don't put it towards me.
No. My brother used to watch that stupid ass Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I loved it.
And here's this bang. So I was just,
it was kind of scary though.
I just used to hate that dumbass dog.
I could never watch it. I couldn't watch it at night.
I hated that stupid ass show
because it was scary.
It was. It was.
But one show that I don't hate is the We Outside After Work podcast. You know, shout out to us, you know. But we also have, like we said, a third member of this show that keeps the ball rolling to make shit smooth, because trust me, it be smooth. And that's this man to my left, Dana's right. So Marv, tell us a little bit about you and tell us about what you got going on over here.
Marv, the producer.
Hey, so I'm Marv, the producer, King of Podcasts on Instagram. I own and operate alongside my business partner Steve over there, Bravery Studios, New Jersey's like #1 podcast studio.
Hey, that's why we're here.
And we just like to have fun. I don't know how else to put it. It's a business, it's a lot of work, but also it's a community. It feels like sometimes it's like you ever saw like any of those sitcoms where they have like a spot they always go to, like Cheers. They go to that bar, and then Friends, they go to that coffee shop. I feel like when you guys are here, or like there's multiple podcasts here at the same time, it feels like I'm the bartender listening to everybody's stories and just absorbing it and
I like that analogy.
And for a black audience, like Martin when they go to Nipsey's. So.
Yeah, like Martin.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into your name on Instagram, the King of Podcasts. So you did recently change your Instagram name to that a couple months ago. So what sparked that change? Was it like your personal experiences, or like people told you that like your work is really dope? Like what was the reason?
I want a name that's like attention grabbing, and it's not like from a cocky place or that I think I'm better than everyone else. It's definitely just.
But what if you are?
Well, I let people say that about me so that I don't have to say it myself.
That's humility right there. I fuck with that.
Yeah. Like I'd rather
Real
you
humble.
say it than I say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want a name where like if I follow you, you're gonna pause and be like, "Oh, King of Podcasts." I gotta like pause and like check what he's about, because that's a big claim. Even if you don't agree, it could still lead to curiosity.
Right, to check out your page and see what makes you so great. I get it. Okay.
Now, when you say you're the king of podcasts, is that you doing the podcast, you producing the podcast, you having this podcast umbrella of sorts? Like what
As a producer, as a studio owner, if you look at all the podcast studios in Jersey and you look at the reviews, we have like the highest amount of reviews of any studio in Jersey. We also have the most podcasts here that are on a membership where like they're not just recording and then saying goodbye, all right, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, we definitely on a membership, and it is not cheap.
Yeah. And it was more about a community than a business. Like I always had that dream of having like a tree house where all my friends would come over and we'll have like Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards up there, and like we kind of built it like a clubhouse. Like if you ever watched MTV, Rob Dyrdek, the guy that has DC shoes, he had a show called Dream Factory, where he just would build whatever he wants and do whatever he wants. I
used to watch that show.
Yeah, he had another show, Robin Big, which was more popular.
I love that show.
Rest in peace to Big.
Yeah, he was doing stuff like that.
He just looks like he has fun every day, and he owns a couple businesses, and I just wanted that. I didn't want to have a stressful life where at the end of it, I kind of look back like, man, I worked hard, but I also like gave up so much time and so much energy into someone else's dream, you know?
Is that what made you start a podcast studio and not something else?
No, I started doing videography first. So I definitely used to like movies a lot. So I wanted to do like make movies. And it was actually someone else that came up with the idea for a podcast studio. He was the real guy who created Bravery Studios. His name was Juan Perez. And he started as a radio station in his house. It used to be called Speak Your Mind Radio. And when I went and got a photography studio, which I really was going to use for YouTubing, because I didn't want to tell the owner that we were going to use it for YouTube stuff. I just said, hey, it's a photography studio. He came along with me, and we shared the space. And eventually, when we had to leave that space, we teamed up and became business partners.
So let me ask you a question. How do you start a podcast studio? Because prior to this, what was your job? Like, did you work in corporate and work for someone else, and then you transitioned slowly into your own studio, and you built that up with friends? Like, what did that look like?
I actually was working in like hard labor, like construction before this. Okay. So I was a sign installer. So, you know, like if you go to Walmart, there's a big Walmart sign outside and big letters and whatnot. I was there in the shop, bending the metal, sanding it, painting it, installing it on the side of a building, and delivering it if someone else had to install it. So I was doing like really hard labor before this. That's why, like, the minute I stopped doing that, I gained so much weight.
And then on top of that, you still keep in that same, obviously you have a passion for like that labor porch, because every time we see you, it's a new goddamn construction going on.
Yeah, you're building different things in the studio, changing backgrounds.
Yeah,
so
it
like,
was a good job. Yeah.
Okay, so when you were in construction, like what was like that moment that sparked not sparked your interest, but like made you transition? Was there one specific moment, or you just always knew that you wanted your own studio?
I always wanted something in the creative space. I didn't know I wanted a studio, and it wasn't like just like moment like in movies where like, oh, this is it, it's my chance. Yeah, there's no eureka moment. Like I said, Juan was doing the podcast radio station at his house. I got a studio for doing YouTube stuff. I didn't tell my job. I just was doing it on the side as a fun thing. It was with Steve. Steve was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we were doing gaming related things like video game stuff. And when Juan and me teamed up, he still had the idea of a radio station, which was more like just him talking about hip hop on the mic, online on a website where they let you upload. It wasn't even YouTube yet. So the way it became a podcast studio was through people reaching out and telling Juan, like, yo, can we record at your studio? We have a podcast. He didn't consider what he was doing a podcast yet.
He just thought it was a radio.
He thought it was a radio station because it was 2015. Nobody was really doing podcasts yet. So he always considered it more of a radio station. But when people started coming and saying, hey, can we record our podcast there? That's when it started to just naturally, organically, like, evolve into podcasting.
And that's when you naturally and organically became a boss, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what's that lifestyle like? Like, you said, I want to get up, I want to play Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with my boys, and I want to live my life my way. But you also got a business to run. Like, how does that lifestyle translate to you being a business owner and a boss?
Yo, it's really fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Nothing against the 9-to-5 lifestyle, but being able to wake up whenever you want and being able to set your own hours and being able to also determine by yourself how much money you're gonna make, because it's not like I have a salary where I have to do set amount of hours to
Except
make set amount of money.
Purposes,
except for tax purposes.
Yeah, he got a salary.
Actually, in New Jersey, business owners can't pay themselves a salary. If you're a CEO,
okay, write that down. That's some facts.
If you have an LLC, if you have an S corp, if you have an S corp, you can pay yourself a salary. But as a LLC, you can't give yourself a salary monthly. But yeah, like the corporate end of things, the paperwork and all that other stuff is the most work for me. Like I dread doing it, but I get it done somehow. And doing bookkeeping, I use a lot of Google sheets and everything.
Digital, right? You just plug in the
It's
numbers.
all digital now, but you do have to set up the template for it.
Okay.
So I did have to go in and set up all the templates, all the mathematics, because
Do you use QuickBooks?
I was at first, but I shifted away from it just because the Google one was free. So I was like, let me just use the Google one.
Use the free one, right?
The smartest move in business is to keep the cost down, right?
Keep the cost low. Even if it doesn't work as well as QuickBooks, at least the cost is low, because QuickBooks can get expensive after a while.
Right, and as a business owner, like, you're paying for everything out of pocket, or like using your business expenses.
Bingo,
credit, and everything counts.
Exactly.
So one thing that you said that I love, though, was that it doesn't feel like work. And that was something that I mentioned on a couple episodes ago, of like finding your passion and your niche and then potentially making an income from that. And that's like my ultimate goal. So that's why I'm doing like a whole bunch of different things, so that once I find that one thing that can take over, that can give me the income from my current 9-to-5 job, then I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I'm going to work my passions and make money from that. So
I think you got it.
You. Thank you.
But we gotta tell the story of when we first met. Can we tell that story?
You guys are so funny.
Wouldn't bring that up.
You guys are funny.
Hey,
you tell it.
I'm
not
telling
it.
So, me and Dana was doing some Googling. First, we went to lunch, and me and Dana was like, "This is what the podcast is gonna be about. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna talk about." But
we had so many different names for our podcast.
I think it was like Chris Brown's pod or something.
What?
No, it was not. It was, but we wanted it to be catchy.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, no, that's weird as fuck. So no. But I just want to say, like, the background for our name, because that's something that we haven't really explained. So to me, like, being outside, like, that's like a thing, right, in the culture. People say, like, oh, we outside, we're having a good time. So when we thought of a name for the podcast, is like, we want it to be fun. We don't want it to be super serious. Like, we're gonna have serious conversations, but for the most part, we want people to just be excited about coming on. And it's like, oh, we outside. And then the after work piece was,
because we work a lot.
Yeah, we literally have professional 9-to-5 jobs, so we're recording this after work. So we're like, yo, let's do we outside
real
after
down
work.
to earth type of conversations, real conversations, not afraid to be controversial, not afraid to be funny, not afraid to step into the taboo and shit. So that's what I love about this. Like, we come on here and we have a good ass time. This is our turn up. Like, we don't want to talk about the everyday outside turn up. You feel me?
But we'll talk about it with our check-ins, just so y'all know, like, things that we have going on, so it's relatable. But we are still responsible at the same time. You're taking care of your family. I'm taking care of, like, my personal endeavors and finances and my potential family in the future. But, like, we're still, you know, being adults and trying to, like, navigate this world on, like, while being outside.
Yeah,
you know?
and when we came across the podcast studio, for whatever reason, Dana was like, you know what?
Wait, hold on. Before you say this,
She don't want to get into it. You see it, right?
my family watches, so chill
What?
out.
It's legal.
Yeah,
It is legal.
She wanted to be loosened up for this.
it was summer.
It was
Number
summer.
one.
And you know, I don't really subscribe to narcotics.
It's not narcotics. Okay, hold on. So before y'all
Were you
think
nervous? Why did you have to
no,
listen?
like, we literally
wanted to
would
have
just, it was
fun.
like Saturday,
okay.
right?
It was like a Saturday.
Yeah. So guys, it wasn't nothing like OD, but it was
It wasn't like
it was like
shrooms.
gummies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we took some marijuana gummies, and I didn't think they were. Well, I knew
She
how
didn't
strong
think-
they were.
She took it like
No,
it was a
listen,
Tylenol.
I knew it wasn't. I knew how strong it was, so I took a piece. Like, I know my limits with that. And then because you're bigger than me, I'm like, all right, let me give you the whole piece.
Why you making it seem like I was the one that was turned?
You was lit too, wasn't he? Okay, let's start from the beginning. Go ahead. How was it?
Dana was turned the fuck up, right? But it was a positive turned up. It was like
So we get to the studio, and what happens?
and we just looking around. We are in awe.
We meet Marv.
We meet Marv.
inviting.
He gives us a tour of the studio. We look at the room. We like, yo, this is dope. This is what we want.
The
we literally
equipment, the
we literally
360.
didn't look at more than one studio.
We only had one at the time.
This was
Yeah.
this was the first studio that we came to.
Oh, that's
and we
what
like
you
fell
mean.
in love with it because
But part of the reason that we fell in love was this guy, right? Because he just it was like warm embrace. Like we felt ingratiated to this
Yeah.
to this family, like Marv talked about. We was just silly as shit. We was laughing
Yo,
through the whole thing.
when
Marv
I'm
was
on
probably
the
embarrassed.
edibles,
No.
I was dying laughing.
I thought I was the funniest comedian. I was like, man, I didn't even know I was that funny.
He was showing us the engineer room and like all the controls, and I cannot control my laugh. Like, I literally had to walk out the room because like I kept laughing, and I kind of felt embarrassed because I'm like, oh my god, like this is potentially like our producer, so like I don't want him to think I'm crazy.
I didn't know you guys were high.
But I think that's what made our dynamic and our chemistry, because from that moment he just felt like one of us.
Yeah,
like,
he wasn't judging us.
Yeah,
He
it never
wasn't
felt
like,
forced.
what
It
the
never
fuck?
felt like, yo, this guy don't know us. From episode 1, he jumped in with the sounds, sound effects, and all that kind of stuff.
You even said, he was like, I know you guys are gonna have a great podcast, or this is gonna be good.
Because you guys were so funny when you were here.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was drug induced, but
Don't say
but
that.
also you guys have this thing where you guys like kind of jab each other throughout the show. Not like like maliciously, but you guys like poke the bear at each other a lot.
It's like a friendly like
jab or like something like that.
she be on the bullshit.
yeah.
But the cool thing is that you guys never take it too far. But you do just enough where somebody that doesn't know you guys might be like, oh my god, he said that to her.
Yeah, you know why though? Because the way I look at it is behind these cameras and outside of this room, like we're real friends. Like we actually talk, we know each other.
And boy,
we
did
talk
she
about
talk.
like real life.
like that.
But we
Yeah.
talk about like real life issues.
Yeah.
So I think like for us to know, and we actually had a conversation prior to this. We're like, yo, this is gonna be fun. Like this isn't something that is gonna like be super like, yes, it's serious, but it's not gonna be like, all right, this is a job. We need to make sure we're doing this, this, and this. Like it's not that structured, but it is structured to the point where we're putting out great content. But like we know how our friendship is outside of here. So I think that's the biggest piece that helps.
But you said something very, very important. He said that he knew we were going to have a good podcast. How do you know that? Not just with us, but with anybody that you work with.
I don't always know that. I'm gonna tell you right now, the shirt I'm wearing is for the anime podcast that we have here, and I didn't know how big they were gonna blow up. So I can't tell all the time, but I can tell in certain situations. Just because of the chemistry you guys had, the chemistry, Oh, I could tell this is going to be a hilarious show. This is going to be good.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. And I could not have imagined that you guys were so down to earth either. Not for nothing, you guys are very attractive people. So sometimes, it's the theory is that attractive people are stuck up. And,
they're assholes.
And you are so down to earth. It's like, I didn't even think that was going to be the case. Because Dana was talking to me about like He-Man or Thundercats one day, and I'm like, wow, you know about that stuff?
Yeah, the throwback.
And she was trash at Street Fighter and all this kind of shit.
First of all, we've been to, what was it?
Nothing happened.
I Play America.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I beat Aaron at all of the racing games, so he be trying to play me, but like I'm really good at video games.
She played the computer. She didn't play me.
I'm a competitive person though, like in real life.
But no, first off, we gotta uncover this, unpack this, as they say. You getting first place against the computer is not getting first place against me. Just because I got second place don't mean that I didn't also win.
Are we talking about Street Fighter? Or are we talking about the racing game?
The racing game you was by yourself.
No, I beat everybody when I play racing games.
Yeah, because it's the computer.
This is it right here. So Hugo was watching last week. Hugo and Chris.
We like Hugo. We went out with him.
Yeah, he's really fun.
He came
he's
out
awesome.
with us. Yeah.
And he asked, like, they do that the whole show? I was like, yeah.
Yeah. So I think chemistry is important. But one thing I did want to ask, and I feel like this is a little personal, but when it comes to other podcasts that you've seen, like, can you see I don't want to say destruction of it, but like what are little things that you feel like happens to where a podcast will eventually just dissipate and disappear? Because I know one of the things is not being consistent, and some podcasts disappear after like 3 months. So what are like some other things?
Pod fade is real. That's something
okay.
That's a term for it.
Okay.
The expectancy of every podcast is 3 months. So everyone that starts a podcast,
we almost at a year.
Yeah, congratulations.
Can we get a bomb drop? Hold on. Thanks, Steve.
Everyone that starts a podcast, the average is you're gonna last 3 months, and then you're gonna give up. So if you can make it past those 3 months mark, that means you're in it for the long run. The other one is respect. Like sometimes one of the co-hosts, I guess if they're friends, there's things that maybe someone will be okay with saying off camera that they won't be okay with on camera. And someone says something that's like, it went too far.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot.
We've done that a few times, but not on like intentionally. But then we know how to like pivot based off like, oh, I see that was something you don't want to talk about. So that is because like we know each other outside of here, and it's like certain cues that's like, oh shit, like okay, I know you don't want to talk about this.
And I think it's important to not take it personal.
You guys are also pre-recorded, so you have another step before your content gets released.
But I don't do any edits, to be honest.
You don't have to, but I mean, in the case of people that do a live podcast, I've had a situation where there was just two girls that did a show together. They were interviewing someone, and after 15 minutes, someone repeated the same question, and then her co-host said, "Yo, you already asked that, like live on like YouTube." So it was like she turned red and she didn't realize she asked that already, and even the guest was confused about why she must not be paying attention or something. But
as a co-host, though, I think that's something that you shouldn't do. That's like, there's a way to say like, to pivot, or like you be like, oh yeah, I get what you're saying, but try to help your co-host.
You gotta save each other,
right?
And if you are going to throw somebody under the bus, don't do it in such a nonchalant way where it's like, I want you to look bad. It's like, if anything, silly it up so it comes off more funny. Like that's kind of what I do.
That's
right?
That's like, our dynamic.
If me and Dana have like a little schism in the questions and things like that, I'm not just gonna be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, nah, that's fucked up.
I be thinking about it, but like even with me, like I fuck up words a lot, right? Like that's just something that is how I am. So, like I don't like get all crazy about it and like overthink it. So I think it also depends on the person too, and like how well you can pivot and how well you can like change whatever you fucked up on and like make it not such a huge thing that stands out.
But has there ever been any like conversations that people have had that just cause you to think like, yo, all right, this ain't the subject matter?
You mean if someone had went into a topic that I didn't want recorded here?
Not necessarily you, but just in general, it's like, like this isn't the topic that probably y'all should be talking about. Y'all don't have enough range on stuff like that. Like, is that something you experienced before?
Only if I know the topic myself. So there's a lot of things. Like, I wish I knew every topic that I could help people. But there's things like I don't watch sports. I don't watch.
It's okay. Dana don't either.
Yeah.
But I be trying.
There's some things that I don't know that I can't help someone with that topic. I don't know modern music. I don't know a lot about it, so I can't help them there.
But you don't really like butt in with the headphones. Like, the only thing that you'll do is you'll say, "Oh, we're running on time." So as a producer, do you think that's should that be a part of your job? Maybe to like help them out or not? Because I would say
definitely.
No. You think so?
Well, it's a tug of war. Okay, so if I do it once and they say no, then never do it again, never. But if they say help us out more, and like I said, if I know the topic, I can help a little more. When you're talking about current events, I literally like live in like a bubble. So in the case of your podcast, some of the things that you guys speak about, I'm hearing it for the first time from you guys.
Yeah, because I think as a podcast, like, you are somewhat of a journalist. Well, you are a journalist.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So you should be researching whatever topics you're talking about, or have some type of knowledge about it. One instance where you did help me out was when I was talking about Swarm, the show, and I forgot the main characters' fucking names. Yeah. And I was just like I knew.
I thought it was The Voice in the Sky.
No, it was
Marv. Yeah,
like I knew like what I was talking about.
I will throw alley oop if
so
if
that's
I know.
That was a sports term. You see, Marvin is just flexing.
That's
right now.
I know that from video games though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll throw the alley oop if I know. If I know how to help them, then I will throw it. Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that except when I don't know, which happens more often, that I don't know the topic.
And one of the things that I love working with Marv is after the show, I pick his brain. I think that sometimes.
Yeah, I'd be like, how you think it was? Like, did it suck or was it good?
But I like talking to a third party perspective because honestly, we might not like the show. Right, it's been shows that we've gotten done with, and me and Dana's like, because
we can
feel about that.
Yeah.
Right. But Marvin is like a sense of reassurance without lying to us. He's like, you know what? Maybe the chemistry was off a little bit here. This is something y'all could work on.
Right.
It's constructive criticism without malice. Right, so things that me and Dana could bring back to the drawing board and say, all right, this is something that Marv talked to us about, especially being on that end of the screen, right? Being behind the scenes, being able to see, like, all right, I'm watching them, I'm seeing how their body language is, I'm seeing if something's off. This is just, I'm gonna chime in. I'm not gonna like impart myself into their podcast, but maybe they should know about this if they ask about it.
Yeah. So I can tell how someone's sitting if they're not comfortable with something.
Yeah, you told me that before.
Yeah, and that's something you pick up on just recording people a lot, and then also when you don't have chemistry with the guest, I can feel like, oh, this is gonna be a little bit awkward. Yeah, because there's not a lot of chemistry there. But you guys have. I think there's only been like 2 episodes that I would say they were kind of rough, and that's it.
Kind of rough.
Yeah, not in
that politics episode.
Not in
that one was very unexpected. That was like episode.
I'm not gonna say any particular episode.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that.
It's okay. We humble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for the sake of the guests too, I don't want to say.
It's a guest. Damn, who was it?
Oh, which one? I didn't even. I was thinking of the ones with just us two, not with the guests.
It was a guest.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you feel like podcasts are just going to continue to get more powerful since, like, now everyone basically has a podcast? And what does that look like for you as like a owner of a studio? Like, are you excited for that? Like, what are your thoughts about like podcasts like really blowing up?
I'm nervous about like a lot of AI stuff. Like if it becomes, I'm gonna make my computer say everything on the podcast. If that happens,
yeah, I heard the thing with AI is it takes away the creativity of like an actual person, right?
And they're starting to take people's faces and voices.
Yeah.
11 Labs, that's the company.
So it's a little bit spooky, the future right now, because of that. I mean, it does make. I use AI a lot. I'm not gonna lie, because I use it for captions on social media.
Same.
And if I have to, the editor I use now has an AI built into it where it can find the most exciting moment in an episode just by like the volume of the voices.
What is that called? Yeah.
It's called Video. Vid.yo.
Okay.
and it just finds the moments, and it'll put the title, it'll put the subtitle, the captions.
That's dope, because what I started doing with our episodes, probably like 5 episodes ago, is I'll put a preview, like a clip from the video in the beginning so people can get excited, and then it starts the podcast. So
the cold opening. If
that AI can like pick that up for me, because that alone takes me like 2 days. Because I'm going through the hour episode, and I'm like, well, what is something that'll spark people's attention to watch this?
That's why you can't beat the AI. The time saving it does, it's...
Yeah, but I think the issue comes down to when you're having the AI do everything. Like you said, like now it's actually like saying your entire podcast. So it's like, well, where is that person, that human perspective coming in at?
That's a little bit like sports right now, where it's like this argument between actual versus analytics, right? The analytics is telling you, do this, do this, do this, but I'm an athlete. Like, I know what it feels like to be on that court. I know what this person across from me is like. Even if you're telling me on analytics, even if you tell me on the analytics, oh, you should go right all the time on this guy, like, I don't want to. Like, my left is my powerful hand. Like, different thing like that. And it's like, I don't know if I'm comfortable just succumbing to all the analytics, because I would look at all the analytics and I'm not sure if this is going to go viral or if this is going to be the right clip to put out.
You can prove the numbers wrong. Like, aren't we like proving the numbers wrong right now? Like being just like people of color, like doing something.
Talk about it.
Right.
Entrepreneurship and doing all this.
Yeah, you having your own business, us having a successful podcast.
Yeah, like statistically, they would say that's not going to happen, but we're proving it wrong. So numbers can be wrong. The AI stuff it's kind of spooky,
scary,
but
and it's like I think the technology is just moving so fast to where it's like every other month now. It's like, oh, there's a new version of ChatGPT. There's ChatGPT 4, and like it's only gonna keep going up. So I think at this point you should take advantage of the podcast space and just having your creativity and like putting out that content, which it is like from a human's brain rather than AI, because that is the future at this point.
But as we're looking at podcasts growing, it's basically the news is becoming a podcast. All of our talk shows are becoming a podcast. Everything is essentially
actors
taken off from TV and onto your cell phones, right? Is that oversaturation? I know we talked about it with Jazz when we were talking about clothing, but is that oversaturation of individuals without quality backgrounds affecting the actual news space? Because I'm afraid of that.
You know what it is? It's kind of unfortunate that someone that when YouTube first came out, and like all these other smaller platforms too, it was about, hey, I'm this guy from home with a camera or even with my phone that can create like
home videos,
art. I can create art. Yeah, it's art. So it's just art. But now it's like, all right, well, I'm this billionaire, not maybe even a millionaire, that's like, I'm already rich and famous, so let me try to invade that space that was kind of meant for the guy at home,
right?
Like the little guy. It was for the internet's easy upload spaces were for the little guy at first, and then Angela Yee is like, I'm gonna start a podcast. Will Smith started a YouTube channel.
Even the Breakfast Club, like they transitioned from radio to now they're on Apple Podcasts, and now they're on TV. Like they're streaming everywhere now. But I think like it's more so them taking advantage of these streaming services, right?
And they have to.
Yeah,
it would be
but
dumb
then
not
it is harder for us at this point, because it's like, all right, well, if it was between us and the Breakfast Club, because you're comfortable and you know them, like you most likely will listen to them. But then it also gives us an edge because we're new, we're different, and you're getting different content from us. So I think it can go either way.
It could, because they're also restrained by
corporate
sponsorships.
What's that called? Not the CDC. What is that called?
FDC. Yeah. They're behind shackles too. So you have an advantage. You could say anything on your podcast.
Fuck them. That's what we could say.
Yeah.
Don't your grandfather watch this?
I don't think he'd get this far in the episode. He'd be asleep. Shout out to my grandmother's birthday today, 75.
Shout out to her.
But I think monetization is a blessing and a curse to the creative space, right? Because all of us, we're looking to monetize everything. whether it's my poetry or Dana's creative online platforms or Instagram or anything like that, right? If we didn't monetize that, do you think everybody would still want to be in this creative space where we're just talking and having podcast discussions and different things like that? I feel like that kind of sullies it a little bit.
It does. It's gonna be wild. Our generation is gonna have so much back history that our grandkids are gonna be able to go back and see.
Right. Watch our videos.
Yeah. How much of that did we see of our grandparents? Like
I seen like 5 pictures of what my mom looked like as a teenager.
That's it.
Like,
and we don't know. We don't know who our grandparents or parents even were.
Yeah.
In the 80s and the 70s.
Yeah.
Our grandkids are gonna be able to see everything.
Yeah.
Like,
my photo albums, like, they don't, because I guess no one really had like a video camera and stuff with my family back in the day. So like I don't really, like, I have pictures, but it's like not that many. So if I have children, or when, I don't know, but if they get to a point where they can see these conversations and videos, like, I think that's super dope, because they get a better perspective of who you were at their age as well. So that when you're talking to them about like real life shit, it's like, oh, you can relate. Exactly. Like,
back in my day.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty
You don't
cool.
have to say back in my day. You can say, watch my podcast.
Yeah. Like, here's the link.
Here's the
link in bio.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got one more topic before we get out of here. So the weather is warming up, and we are slowly getting into the summer, and a lot of people are going to be outside more often. So we just wanted to ask, what are your up and coming summer plans, if you have any, and what does being outside look like for you this summer?
Oh man, so we were supposed to go to Japan this year. And the Wolf Pack. The Wolf Pack being Steve, Matthias, who was also on your podcast.
Yes.
Will, you see him around with the guitar.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we missed the deadline for buying the tickets, because you have to buy really early in the year, or if not, the price just gets ridiculous. So now I think we're gonna probably do in August or September, California.
What part?
Just to keep it a little bit simpler. And I probably the South. I don't know.
It's right next door to Japan. You know, deep down.
And hop, skip in the ocean. Yeah.
Right.
but probably Cali. I want to see all the sites. Hollywood. I even want to see Compton.
That's
I want to
fun.
see all everything out there.
Be careful going to Compton. All right.
Yo, Kevin Costner is from Compton. Did you know that?
Well, Compton is it's the good side and the bad side.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Compton is like every city where it's good parts and bad parts.
Yeah.
So I want to see all of that. Yeah. I have never been to the West Coast. I've been to the middle of the country. I've been all up and down the East Coast. I've never been to the West Coast.
Yeah, Cali's on my list of places. The furthest I've only been was Arizona, but like I would love to visit Cali. And
I went to San Diego. It was one of the most beautiful places I've
I heard
ever
their
been.
beaches are like breathtaking.
It was a little cold, unfortunately, when I went. I went in December. I was very disappointed.
Oh, you went in
But
December.
the food, listen, Mexican people, bless y'all heart. I don't know what y'all be putting in it, but it must be y'all foot, because goddamn, that food was amazing. I love Mexican food.
I love tacos. So
It's more
I
than
definitely
tacos.
gotta try. No, I know, but I'm saying like that's one of my favorite foods. So like I want to go out there.
You know
just
what
to
that
try the
reminded
food.
me of? I
What?
like turtles.
Anyways,
Yeah,
so
Cali's
that's
the
dope. Yeah, you definitely got to tell us about your experience when you go. I think for me, like this summer and what outside looks like, because people have been asking me like, what does my summer plans look like? And I'm kind of like a go with the flow person, to where I don't like planning that far in advance. If it's like a month ahead, then like I'll plan a trip or a weekend or something out the state, but like I don't normally plan like months ahead, so I'm kind of just open to like whatever at this point.
Well, next year, make sure you plan ahead.
Yeah, my 30th.
Right.
Marv, you coming?
Yeah, hell yeah.
On the trip? Are you coming? Okay.
Yeah, do you know where you're going yet?
No.
We just said you had a plan, right? Yeah.
But it'll most likely be like in the States, just because like out the country you do got to deal with your passports and stuff like that. So it might.
Planning with extra motherfuckers.
Yeah, it'll be like in the U.S.
We could also like vlog it and make it content for the
for the Patreon, because we got a Patreon. That'd be dope.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got a camera.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
For me, I'm a little different. You know, I got kids, So I'm gonna do some family stuff. We have a family trip to Wildwood, New Jersey. If you ain't never been, I definitely recommend it. My favorite place on the planet. It just makes me feel like a kid again every time I go there. So we're going there towards the end of July. My whole family. So I look forward to that.
Is that like a yearly thing?
It's a yearly thing. Okay. Yeah. It's been a little different over the last couple of years. Just as prices changed and hotels and whatnot change, especially post Sandy, it's been a little different.
That's what I was thinking about. I haven't been down there before after Sandy.
The shore's been a little different for the last couple of years, but you know they trying to bounce back. I live in a resort town, so I'm always kind of outside. Unfortunately,
must be nice.
Not really, because it's a lot of traffic around that time. But I do want to get back to Vegas. I went in January, but I got some comp rooms because we was throwing them dollars up. So I need to get my money's worth.
I want to go back to Jamaica. Sorry, you just said like how you want to go back to Vegas, and I just thought about.
No, I'm messing.
Go ahead. No, you can finish.
I
just thought about that. Yeah, because when I went, it was a little cold, and the ocean was cold. So like, I would love to go when it's like warm.
I know them Jamaican men was trying to heat the ocean up for y'all though. I heard about them.
Listen, yeah, finish what you were saying.
Oh, yeah, get your breath. Collect yourself.
I'm good.
Nah, but Marvin, we definitely appreciate you.
Yes.
Not just for coming on today, but just in general for all that you do for our show. You are an integral part of
holding us down. Like you do a lot behind the scenes with the sound effects. You know what I noticed? Every single guest that we have in this seat, like they're always surprised with like your timing for like the effects. And one effect that stands out the most to me was when we had Anika on, and she was talking about Law and Order, and she was like, dun, and you literally hit it as soon as she said it. Yeah.
And the crazy part is he never spoke to her. He didn't. It is no plan. And Marvin don't see our rundown. Like this might have been the first time he ever seen our outline.
Right.
So
I didn't know you guys had an outline before.
Yeah. We just don't be on here. We don't just be on here talking. We could, but we want like the structure.
So once you like listen to conversations so often, you kind of can predict where things are gonna go. So like I will already have my hand on a sound effect button before you bring up that like the moment for that, because even right now as I'm saying I'm ready for the sound effect and Steve already had the Law and Order button ready, you have to kind of like predict it, and then if you don't land a prediction, it's cool because they'll never know that you had that planned. But
it's like a little delayed though, because if you do it like after the moment, then
you missed it.
You can listeners can
they can tell you missed it. So you have to like have your hand on it ready to go before the trigger happens.
But the way that you won't be able to miss this moment is by subscribing to us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the streaming platforms. And if you want to make sure that you can join us in this seat or give us some questions or voice record.
Yeah, right? We got sending us a voice message now.
Yep. Make sure you hit up our Gmail at WOA. Damn, I
come on.
This is the first time.
WOAWpod@gmail.com. Also, if you're interested in starting your own podcast, you're located in the North Jersey area, you can definitely come take a tour of your podcast studio, Brewery Studios.
You can come sober or not.
Yeah, he don't judge.
Yeah.
But this was dope. Thanks for joining the conversation, Marv.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next week when we record the next episode.
We'll see him next week twice because we got a lot to do next week.
Live show.
We got a live show next weekend.
So y'all make sure y'all tuned in.
Yes.
But with that being said,
we outside.
And we
out.
Oh, he put a thumbs up. That's new. We gonna do it too.